So this is what we got to address right now. This coat hanger latch on both sides of the truck isn't satisfactory to me. If these came off the parts truck, that's what the handles look like. I wrote an L on there. I don't have a key for them, unfortunately, but what I did do, since these were rusty, is I ran them through the media blaster. See the pitting on them. Heads of these were full of rust. This guy's a little Allen. Virtually no hope that that'll actually come out. Probably gonna end up either having to cut it or weld a nut on it to get that out. Heat has been applied. And it worked pretty good. Now that I got them broke free, I'm squirt penetrating oil in them and let them sit. I say so far only one. Okay, excellent. Well, I got all this stuff media blasted out. These had some pretty heavy pitting in them. There's a few cracks in the castings, but it's gonna be totally fine just for a driver. Got all the rust out. They spin freely now. They were stuck pretty bad. These are aluminum spacers. They'll probably be fine without any paint. I'm giving it to them anyways. And those were the super crusty little things that the latch. So I'm gonna shoot some, what is this? Gloss black paint. I'm going with gloss because it has the most protective properties compared to like satin or flat. Well, got them all cleaned up. They got some pitting. They're not perfect. Also got the insides painted so they don't get all rusty. Go ahead and slap them on there before it gets any darker. Well, they ain't perfect, but they're better than that. And I can latch them. Houston, we have a problem. I mean, where do we put this monster? The air dryer. It is huge. And there ain't much space there. I had originally planned on putting this unit right here in this hole, you know, with the top of it about flush with the top of the frame rails, but even, you know, kinda, even if the air lines were not there, we've got, what is that, 10 inches from the inside of the frame rail to the back of the transmission box here. And this unit here is pretty much 10 inches. So we have to build a mounting plate right here that's probably a foot or so by 7 or 8 inches or thereabouts. So I don't think this is going to work. there's just not enough room. So I think a better option would probably be right here. We've got enough height, you know, this direction. It's down, let's see, probably 14 inches safely, a little less than that. We've got the vertical. So this guy is, it's probably 12 inches tall. The only problem there is this guy. Now, as you can see, it's just sitting there, a couple of bolts loose, and it has to come off anyways. But if you'll see, the transmission here doesn't stick out nearly as far as it does here. So I think that's probably going to be where I'm going to put it. I'll just relocate this or build a different bracket to hold this guy and scoot it over here or up here or wherever I need to. Just got hose coming over to there, so it can go anywhere that hose will reach. So I think this is going to be an ideal spot. Just trying to build bracketry to get it to mount up somewhere there. I don't know how that's going to go yet. So I think that the first part of this little process is going to be to get this off, because everything attached to this, hoses, fittings, the plate, all of that has to be refinished anyways. I've got one new hose that goes underneath the shifter box to right there, so I know that'll come off. I'll just have to get in there and pop that loose, and then we can just kind of rotate that down and out of the way. Remind me to plug that hole with silicone if I don't get done with this before it rains. So we'll go ahead and pop this guy off. It just aggravates the fire out of me having all my stuff get wet. Still haven't painted these studs and nuts. Working down here, trying not to scratch my pretty new paint. Well, I say new, it's coming on a year since I painted it, so I guess it ain't new no more. Okay. Also didn't find boots for this shifter box yet, but I got a really heavy coating of grease on there so it ain't rusting. Okay. Okay, she's loose. Alright, so just need to pop this line and this line loose, which these I don't think are tight. I just called these lines. These aren't lines, these are bolts. And that one's kind of snug. Okay, I just put them in there just to catch a thread or two. Stainless bolt, still got some rust down in the hole. Alright, drop this fella down out of the way. Get the line out, hose out. Okay. Rusty dusty on top of the pretty new paint. So this is kind of what I'm envisioning. Boy, there is just barely room, but there is room. Gives me room to clear the transmission, the air hoses. Okay, so, and it gives me about a 1/4 inch for a plate. Let's see, you could actually tuck in a little, but I don't know that I want to tuck it in a little. So we'll say 1/4 inch stood off the frame rate. So the old air dryer is an addition that this truck was not originally built with. Another benefit to putting it here is that the main compressor charge line, which is unbolted, see it laying right here, that's a hard line, comes back. Where does it go? Right through here into this first fitting here. It's on this side of the truck, so having it here would eliminate the factory setup that crossed all the way across and went down there to the air tank. What I can do now with it over here is just pick up there, go straight to the air dryer, and then from the air dryer to the tank. So it's probably better that it be on this side anyway. So I got a couple of options for building a mounting plate. We'll build a flat plate. I can either build off the back of the flat plate. I can build, you know, whatever this is, 2.5 inch long tube steel spacers, 4 of them, and bolt it directly to the frame rail. Or I can build some angle iron stuff, kind of like that. I don't know. I'll let you know what I come up with. So I think what I'm going to do is cut me kind of a rectangular plate that'll fit on the inside of this frame rail and utilize a couple of those bolt holes so I don't have to drill any more, and then space it out, whatever that measurement is, and put another plate about the same size on it, and just put some tubular steel or square tube steel pieces in between it, kind of build a little table, so to speak, to mount that to. So let's get in there and fabricate a little. So here in the old shop where it's nice and cool, it's currently 104 outside, so we ain't doing that. I measured the distance between my frame rails, and it's about 8 inches. So just doing a little triangulating here, it would seem that 7-inch plate vertically and say 8 inches this way would give us plenty. So I've got a piece here, 1/8 inch steel plate. I do a lot of fabricating, so I have 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch. Well, since the truck's all painted up and everything, I can't just go wrestle this around, swing it around, bang it on the frame. So I'm having to use that little guy and some measurements. So here's what I've got. My frame is 10 inches tall. We're gonna call this stick my frame. What I don't wanna do is have it sticking up too high above the frame like that. That would look stupid. And I don't want it, you know, hanging off 3 feet too low. So taking this frame, kind of come up with this here. So this, the tan part is my actual frame. If I cut it here, it won't stick up too high, and down here, it'll only be whatever that is, 3 inches below. So bottom of the chassis would be there.